Stargirl, the TV show. I'm really starting to dig this show. It's got a lot of good stuff from the comic books. And I didn't like her in the comics, but I like her a lot in the TV show because they're basing an entire universe off of this character. She's connected one way or another to 50 or 60 different superheroes and supervillains. And they're bringing a lot of them in. And they're using them well. They're telling their stories. They're taking time to do this right. Something, unfortunately, that doesn't happen with the DC movies. But definitely with the DC television shows. The DC television shows and their cartoons are incredible. The movies, not so much. I like the cartoons and the TV shows way better. They're going full on with the costumes. They're going full on with the stories. They're mimicking a lot of stuff that happened in the comics, which, I mean, that's your source. That's your source of your material. If you go back to the source, then you might as well copy the source for real. Why change it? But they've been changing them in the movies, and it's just whack-a-do. But this show, they're keeping it 100 with the comic books. Maybe 96 with the comic books. In this episode 6, they've got a guy named Sportsmster and a woman named Tigeress. Tigeress is a full-on lunatic who has a mastery of a considerable amount of martial arts. She is hand-to-hand, super dangerous. They've got Sportsmaster. Sportsmaster is a guy, he's basically in peak human condition, and he uses a lot of sports paraphernalia to fight with. You know, he's sort of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones, but way deadlier. Think about Casey Jones as like a DC superhero property. I mean, you pretty much got Sportsmaster. He uses baseball bats, baseballs, hockey stuff, basketball stuff, tennis stuff. He uses all these different things, but they're deadly. And he's made them so that, like a tennis racket, he could, lob a tennis racket, it might blow up because it's got an explosive in there. So like Batman's utility belt with all of the different stuff, he's got a case with baseball and football and sports paraphernalia, and he's super deadly. In the cartoon, Young Justice, he is an assassin working basically for Darkseid. He doesn't know it's working for Darkseid, but he's working for the light, and the light's working for Darkseid. And think about that. Darkseid, who is DC's, basically their equivalent to Thanos. He came first, but basically their equivalent to Thanos. He's the human assassin for that guy. So he's crazy dangerous. But these two get together, they have a child. Their child is called Artemis, who eventually becomes a hero. At least in the cartoon. But they have another child called Cheshire, and she is crazy dangerous too. They haven't introduced her yet, but I'm waiting on bated breath to see what happens with her. But either way, Sportsmaster and Tigress are sent on a mission. They get to kill somebody. They love to kill people, so they get to kill somebody, so they're like, yeah, let's go kill somebody. And the team that's on the show has to try to stop, which is Stargirl, Hourman, Wildcat, and Dr. Midnight. They, the four of them, have to fight against the two super assassins. It's actually a pretty good fight. You would expect that since these guys don't have superpowers, the assassins, that the superpowered team would run over them. But wait, the assassins have years, maybe decades of experience, and the kids don't have any. So it kind of equals out. It's a pretty good fight, especially for like a TV show, a superpowered TV show type deal. It was good. It was an epic fight. There's a list, a super long list of people that they could bring in. Like there's some people that they've teased already, but they haven't brought in. Green Lantern is eventually coming. That's a big name. Dr. Fate is eventually coming. He's DC's version of Doctor Strange. Who came first, chicken or the egg? But he's their version of Doctor Strange. I think he's the crazy, goofy, weird janitor that's been, hanging out saying stuff like beware the water. There's dragons in the water. He's giving all these cryptic messages to the kids. And he seems to only be talking to the kids that have, the superhero powers. So he's got to know. I think that's Dr. Fate. And then the Thunderbolt, which is, for Johnny Thunderbolt, it's a pen. You snap the pen like you're popping it. And instead of like, and now the pen's ready to use, it is ready to use. But instead of being a regular pen, it's a genie. A genie pops out. In the old lore, genies were in oil lamps. You rub the oil lamp, make a little friction, the oil lamp, where the genie lives in the oil, genie pops out, gives you some wishes. But here, the genie lives in the oil/ink of the pen. You pop that pen, make a little friction, genie pops out. Except instead of 3 wishes, he's giving you as many times as you hit that little button, he'll give you a wish. But you've got to be specific with it. So eventually somebody's going to be the new Johnny Thunder. And these are some of the most powerful people on the team. They had Supergirl too, and they had Mr. Terrific, who is the smartest or the second smartest person on their entire planet. So I assume that he's going to show up sooner or later as well. And they've got a bunch of villains, they got so many avenues for good stories and good storytelling here. I hope they don't botch it up. I'm really expecting something good from this show. It's a good show. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely watch it. If you like the DC movies, if you like the DC comic books, actually if you like the Marvel movies and comic books, if you like the action-packed comic book type stuff, yeah, this is for you. Even if you just like the action stuff, you might dig this. I dig it. In fact, I dig it so much that I am going to give Stargirl, episode 6, season 1, 8 bags of popcorn. Still 8 bags of popcorn. It's been 8 from the beginning. 6 episodes, it's still 8. It's a solid 8. Hasn't really slipped down to a 7. Hasn't bumped up to a 9. It is a solid 8. Have you seen Stargirl? What's your favorite, I'm assuming Arrowverse, what's your favorite Arrowverse superhero team, superhero show? Let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn passport. Get your popcorn passport.